Boom. We are alive, ladies and gentlemen. How exciting is that to watch Bitcoin jump over 10 grand in such an incredibly short period of time? The title of the video wasn't even able to keep up with the speed of Bitcoin's price, which is fantastic. And I don't even think my internet is capable of keeping up with the Bitcoin's price today. But we're going to do a live stream last little bit here before I head back to my own Bitcoin jungle, where the internet is somehow better running through my lemon trees than it has ever been in any of these cities, which is just, to me, absolutely incredible. Give us a thumbs up if the content is going smoothly. Let us know in the chat that everything is working. I'd really appreciate that. We're just going to dive in and take a look straight. Actually, let's start here. So we're going to take a look at Bitcoin's ETF in and outflows. So we're just having one of our Wu Wei calls, and we were taking a look at how much Bitcoin was being bought and sold through the ETFs. Back here, January 12th, the first day, the majority of it was inflow. And as you can see, the green down here at the bottom is actually all GBTC outflows. So here on January 16th, for example, $484 million out from GBTC. And a total of $691 million in Bitcoin bought through the ETFs. IBIT at $386 million, FBTC at $195, and the smaller ones aggregated around $100 million. So as we zoom out again, and we see the majority of the outflows have actually started to decrease quite significantly. And we have day-over-day buys that are significantly higher than the outflows. And today, the outflows of GBTC are only 44 million, and as just a few days prior, only at 55.6 million. So just a little bit of a closer zoom in on these. You can see that when you have a significant amount more buying than selling, obviously price is going to go up. And as we've seen, $480 million total, and only $150 million sold from GBTC. Same with the day after, on the 21st of February, 272 million and only 137 million out. So day over day, and with the 26th, just the other day, I guess this is a day delayed in their data here, we see 276 million in Bitcoin bought and only 44 million sold. So we have an incredible amount of supply strength and demand, incredible amount of demand strength coming in, and very little Bitcoin to sell. So pretty impressive to see. We're going to take a look at some more of the fun charts like this. One of the things I wanted to do was share our widening megaphone pattern. We'd gone over this one before. As I said, when we were back down here at around 36,000 to 42,000, that once you start to get to the top, there might not be a whole lot of time before we just start to break. So we broke out of the top of our widening megaphone pattern. So for those of you that have not seen this before, here's the widening megaphone pattern, the start of the breakout and the bull market in 2020, your points 5, 6, 7. Notice we never came down to hit 0.7. I said that happened last time. We were at the top of the widening megaphone pattern, and that the likelihood here was that we were basically, if we were lucky, we are going to get some type of reaccumulation here and then a breakout. As you can see, we had points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then as we got up to 0.6 here, which was around this area, we had no stopping whatsoever and have just had a complete breakout. No 0.7 to be seen here at all. Again, part of me was hoping we'd see more downtime, I guess. Just more accumulation usually means a stronger market participant, but the fact that there's so much going in and out of these ETFs is we're at $61,250 already for Bitcoin, which is just incredible. From the start of the ETF movement to today, that's a 50 to 60% gain. So you're going to have participants in already 60% in the green on their ETF holdings, and they're going to get the taste. FOMO is going to start to show up, but retail's not here yet. I was at my dance classes the last 2 weeks, and most people didn't think about Bitcoin at all. I asked all of them, I'm like, so what do you own? They're like, oh yeah, some properties, some stocks. I'm like, what about Bitcoin? They're like, nah, Bitcoin's too risky. Retail isn't here yet. institutions are buying these assets, not everyday people. And it's usually not till retail starts to show up that the market cycle really kicks off. And based off the fact that what we've seen here now is a really strong indicator of strength for these ETF inflows, I would suspect that we could just be moving into new all-time highs very quickly, especially considering we've broken out of this widening megaphone pattern. Usually once these widening megaphone patterns break out, they don't stop after. Again, we'll just for comparison, we'll take a look at Bitcoin's widening megaphone here. Once we broke out, that was the start of the bull run. But know that we're getting closer to a top. We're going to take a look at Solana, Ethereum, Avalanche, Fetch, and Link today, and finalize with the S&P 500. But I just for fun also wanted to look at our previous charts. This I drew up in 2020. Mostly following regression lines, which is something that can be more useful in bull markets. But look here, once we broke out past this red line here, we've been in bull market mode, up again 60% basically from that breakout of our previous strength in the regression lines. So the movement up to 69,000 is basically assured here. We could get some retesting, some type of LPS here, but again, generally in the past, once we start the widening megaphone breakout, it's a breakout for a while. So Ethereum here also looking really good. Obviously not keeping pace with Bitcoin. We were chatting also earlier this morning about the likelihood of an Ethereum ETF being approved maybe somewhere near August. We'll see. There is an approval date set for May, I think, for Fidelity, and BlackRock's is set for August. So Ethereum, very, very nice. Now we don't say SOS incoming. We are in the SOS phase. I suspect we see an LPS, and then we'll be into new all-time highs for Ethereum probably quite quickly. I don't think that we see too much downtime here before we just rip up to $4,000 Ethereum. It seems quite likely and very, very possible at this moment that you start to see the continuation or breakout of Ethereum here as well, which will just lead even further to the likelihood of an ETF approval somewhere in August. The other thing I wanted to go over here was the previous widening megaphone pattern. This is a very beautiful pattern. It usually starts at the spring phase of your Wyckoff accumulation charts. So here, as we're looking at Ethereum, here was the spring, March of 2020. We saw points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or sorry, something a little bit more like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then again, we couldn't come back to the bottom of the widening megaphone pattern. And as soon as we left the widening megaphone pattern, oh my God, it was just straight up and out into new all-time highs, basically month after month. So it's good to keep in mind what we're witnessing for Bitcoin is very likely just the start of the bull market. Retail's not here yet. And these widening megaphone patterns, when they start in the spring, like we saw in Bitcoin, they're very, very reliable. We can go over countless examples, but we'll just use the three so far, which is Bitcoin's previous cycle, Ethereum. Fetch also, we will look at for fun today at brand new all-time highs. Another leading indicator that we're into the bull market is new all-time highs. You usually don't get that any other way. But just for fun, let's go back to March of 2020 for another really beautiful widening megaphone pattern right out the spring of the accumulation range for Fetch. And again, once we broke out of the phone pattern for Fetch here, it was up significantly, followed by big drops, yes, but the bull market still pushed Fetch into multiple new all-time highs. Not once, twice, 3 times that happened. You saw up 10x, basically down 80%, up 10x, down 80%. So the fact that we're seeing, again, Fetch here at new all-time highs, I suspect we get a bit more of a run, a nice consolidation and drop, and then probably another massive leg upwards. Most of the supply for Fetch is already on the market, so we know where it's going. Since the videos we posted about Fetch and the movement upward, you got to remember we're already up 280% on that move. If you compare it to Bitcoin's low, Fetch is up almost 20x. So Fetch has significantly outpaced Bitcoin since its low. If you were to buy on the exact same date, the exact same amount, Fetch is up 20x, Bitcoin is up around 2.5x. So there is obviously the risk to reward relationship of any asset is based off how Fetch could go to zero, but there's definitely some confluence between the ideas of AI and crypto, I think, that are undervalued narratives at this moment. So Fetch, very nice to see leading such a strong proportional move here. Again, just back to Ethereum for a second. We are in an accumulation and breakout phase. I feel sorry for people like Crypto Capo who are using Wyckoff charts, but doing it wrong. That no way shows volume or supply signatures, which is like the most important part. If you see people charting Wyckoff without taking into account, here's a low supply check, increased bullish moves, whatever's happening in the supply charts here for Ethereum, if they're just looking at the trading range, chances are they're going to make mistakes because the majority of the story is actually in the supply signature. So we'll take a look at Solana here as well. Oh, Solana all the way since, let's take a look at the bottom of the price. Since market's bottom, we're almost up 10x. So again, outpacing Bitcoin from bottom to top at the moment. It looks like we're in a reaccumulation pattern here as well. So let's, for fun, we'll note the previous reaccumulation pattern for Fetch, buying climax, secondary test, spring test, jump across the creek, SOS, LPS, boom, big breakout. I suspect that's where we're at right now, that we just jumped across the creek. We just back tested the creek this last week. We've now moved up. We're going to see an SOS backup phase, and we're going to go into probably breaching into new all-time highs. Same thing is happening with Avalanche as well. We'll go here on the 2 hour to get a bit clearer. Oh, did we just lose internet? Oh, okay. I don't think so. Internet. I can't wait to get home. The internet sucks, and it's so surprising. Okay, so here we are with Avalanche. Let me draw up what we were looking at in the private group. Boom. So something like this, with the bottom of our trading range here being a reaccumulation after decline. I think that Mr. Berdanjeri was correct here, that this was a reaccumulation after decline with the top of the box on the left-hand side, our spring. We've currently entered SOS, had a portion of our backup, and have started into the secondary portion of the SOS phase. We could go as high as $80 to $100 here in this next move for Avalanche. Again, especially seeing that we're at new all-time highs for Fetch. It's going to be a really strong driver for us to continue into new, maybe not new all-time highs for Avalanche, just because we're adding new liquidity, whereas Fetch has all of its liquidity on the market already. Avalanche still has unlocks, VC unlocks that are coming. So I don't think we'll get to new all-time highs per se, but again, a pretty easily double from this price as well. Link this morning had a massive 10%. Someone looked like they market bought right off the top. So let's take a look at just on the close range. We saw, what was this? Almost a 10% candle. I suspect someone just wanted to market buy a bunch of $1 million worth of Link this morning and not wait. Up almost 100%. So not performing as well as Fetch or Avalanche or Solana at this moment, but Link has a lot of value. I do suspect that Link will be added to a basket of cryptocurrencies and ETFs eventually. I think it's just a matter of time. Same with Ethereum. I think these get added to a basket of crypto as an index on the within the regular U.S. stock market. And Bitcoin here just still holding nicely at $61,000. So again, these Wyckoff ranges are so powerful, so beautiful to understand. We've been long this whole time for a reason. I see a lot of people, oh, it's bullish, it's bearish, it's bullish, it's bearish. It's usually not good to try to take advantage of that and just buy on these market cycle ups. Once you know that if a market maker has been accumulating something like Link for 500 days, they're not going to just all of a sudden sell to wreck the market in the first 100 days of trading. It makes very little sense if you've done any of your homework. So the best thing here to do, again, is just look for long-term accumulations. And then as you start to see the breakout occur, you can basically buy all the way up the market cycle if you wanted to. As long as you have an exit plan, it's actually not that bad of an idea. Pretty impressive market so far. Lastly, I guess I wanted to look at the S&P 500. Last week, there was a little bit of consolidation that we had looked at right around the Bitcoin ETF timing. We saw a few market cycle chunks down. But then again, we're basically we went and jumped into new all-time highs for the S&P 500 at 510 points. Jesus, a 3% move in the stock market. That's incredible. Most of this is being moved by NVIDIA. I'm not sure if you guys looked at NVIDIA's chart, but it's actually probably fun to look at NVIDIA just for fun too. AI is obviously going to be a very, very strong driver within the next 5 to 10 years. I think it's become more and more obvious to people as the tech's got better how much this is going to change every single industry. But just for fun, take a look at NVIDIA's chart here. Since the down cycle of 2023, we're up 541%. A beautiful reaccumulation range right here for NVIDIA too. Basically textbook horizontal reaccumulation range. We won't get too deep into this, but since the breakout of that as well, up almost 70%. And this is for a huge company. This is generally what's keeping the S&P 500 into the float moment. So good to keep an eye on. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying this bull market cycle so far. You feel well positioned. There's a ton of opportunity here still for more up. Anybody who says they're shorting is really I would stop listening to them. The only time a short is in any way probably a good idea at this moment is if you feel you have too much exposure and you want to have some insurance to the downside, and then you're likely just looking at that as a premium, and I would suggest using calls instead at that because they're cheaper in the long term, and they act more like insurance if you're going to do that. So just something to keep in mind. There are more professional ways to try to limit your downside. So I see a bunch of nice comments. Thank you guys all for the support. It's great to be back. I fly back to Costa Rica. We'll be set up in my little Bitcoin bear den jungle in just a few days. So we'll have live stream day after day after day. And so good to see so many new members join the private group. Again, I try to convince you guys to join before the market cycle goes up, but no matter what we do, people seem to only want to join as all the prices are all moving. But at least you're here early. You're still here before retail. Give yourself a round of applause. Retail's not even here yet, and the price is just skyrocketing. So there's lots of fun to look forward to still. Keep an eye out on the markets. We'll be back here again shortly with some more updates. So thank you all for being patient with me. I'm so glad to be done my little dance trip and then back with you guys here shortly. So we'll see you again on the next episode.